Hello and welcome to BeamNG.drive. Today I'm back on my track to run 5 more vehicles. The first is the Soleil Adventera. This is a basic configuration of the car, which already is quite fast for this track. And it is a difficult vehicle to drive, because it is quite understeery and it has extremely exposed front wheels and they are very fragile as well, so a small bump on the side of the track is able to damage them. So airtime is to be excluded or limited to the minimum possible, and also watch out for understeering. That was difficult, and in sections like the cylinders, for example, I have to brake a bit more because I can't get away with brushes on the cylinders because of the wheels. They are exposed and I can damage them. Now the top speed is very high, 190. No, don't slide. Oof. I wanted to show off a bit the top speed, but I have to be careful to not smash on the barrier. Now the ribbons can cause troubles to this car, but this was a flawless execution. Now don't want airtime and I broke the oil pan, not the best. The ringed corner, no issues. Now here I want to brake a bit early because this car is very airtime friendly. I don't know why, it seems to fly a bit more compared to others in this challenge. Okay, I caught a spin. I think I saved it. I maybe have lost a second or two there. That was not ideal, but I saved it. This challenge, sometimes I have to leave errors in because I can't be flawless, and it also is better, in my opinion, to the competition to have some mistakes here and there. It means that is not I don't know what I'm saying, and I stole the engine. Oof, this car in this section is not happy. I'm not happy as well because I can't speak. Oh, but that was a terrible understeer, but the time is very competitive. The second vehicle is the Renault Avantime with the noisiest V6 engine you can have. This vehicle received a lot of small updates since I did the video on it, so I really suggest you go and look at it yourself because it is a very nice mod. There will be the card for the video in the top corner and also the description of the video. But now let's focus on the lap with this incredibly noisy car. It is heavy and quite big, so I have to be careful on the cylinders because it can smash easily on one of them. Also, the rear gets very light when I slam on the brakes, so it can cause a loss of control and then smash on the cylinder, which is not what you want. Now that was somewhat good. Let's see the top speed. It is quite good for such a vehicle, 143. Yeah, I don't want to risk it because it is heavy and it's easy to overshoot this braking zone. The climb is decent. An issue this vehicle still has is the gearbox. It's not always on point. Sometimes it doesn't want to change, and that's not very helpful. Now, the ringed corner, it shouldn't cause problems. Okay, now this part, it's a hit or miss. It can be perfect or it can be a terrible experience. Now, with this run, it's very good experience. Good job on time. Now here some oversteer, which is unexpected. Let's see here, some understeer and the gearbox didn't want to change. This bounce, yeah, this jump causes a lot of bouncing with this car. I don't know why, especially on the rear. Probably it has too much soft suspensions because it also... okay. That was a very close call. I didn't even lose too much time on that, okay. I have to be careful not to cut the corners too much. And now this is the trickiest part. Just like the Ventera, it doesn't want to accelerate and the gearbox is not very helpful, but the time for such a vehicle is still quite good. It's time for the Ibishu Yoru 2.2 RS all-wheel drive. Now I chose the vehicle and RNG chose the configuration. Sadly it didn't give me a race configuration, which is what I was hoping for, because I think this car has all the cards to beat the top time of the Ibishu Sunburst Track Day, yes, of course. because this car is based on the ambitious Sunburst, and I can say that this is probably better, in my opinion, than the Sunburst, both in looks and in performance. Even this, that isn't a race configuration, it's just a sport configuration, can reach almost 180 km per hour in this part of the track, which is incredibly impressive. Okay, that was a bad climb, but that was my fault. And yeah, I'm sad, but I think this will be a very good time. Anyway, I'm already at the ringed corner without any issues, except for that almost drop of speed in the climb. Now here I got a bit light. Oh, gearbox! Oh! The gearbox didn't want to change, and I got valve train damage and over torque issues, which is a new one in this challenge, in this series. Okay, hopefully it wouldn't be a big issue. Okay. Now, I have some understeer, I noticed, so I want to be a bit more careful in this section. I want a good entrance, a bit of handbrake to help. Now here as well, the acceleration was a bit too much and I overshot the corner. Now, hug the inside, but not too much. Okay. Oh, the bump really helped with some cornering, and the top time, ooh, very good. And now it's time for the Hirochi Mistral 1.5 SX Turbo. The turbo does not live up to the badge on the back of the car, because it is a huge turbo badge, but the turbo is not that impressive. Anyway, I'm expecting this vehicle to be similar to the Covet, because I think I ran a standard Covet. I ran at least the MR Turbo, I remember that, but I'm not sure about a standard Covet. But it is a city vehicle, a compact hatchback vehicle. It is quite small, so in this section is quite good. I can save a lot of speed in that part, and it is what I did. But the top speed is still nice, because 150 km per hour. I was a bit early on the brakes, because it is better early than late, and the climb, some wheel spinning, but it was good. The speed maintained was pretty high. The ribbons, I'm not expecting problem. And this, okay, engine and induction system damage. Usually it happened after the jump, but this time it happened before the jump, so that's even more impressive, the fragility of those two parts. Hopefully there won't be an issue for this run. Now, the 0G was very good, and now here I have a lot of understeer, but somehow manageable. Okay, good. The bump, the jump, nice. Double bounce, but nothing to worry about. Now here, not too much airtime, because I already have some damage on the engine and the induction system, so hitting the front is not ideal. Now here, a lot of understeer, but still pretty nice. Consider that the wheel spins constantly in this vehicle, which is not ideal for the speed or the cornering line, but at least it was a pretty competitive time. The last vehicle is the Nissan Qashqai German Red Cross Edition 1.5 DCI. Now let's see if in case of an emergency you are lucky when you see this car and you are German. Probably not, because it is an SUV, it is not the best around. I remember this being quite average in performance, and not even reaching 100 km per hour in this part is not a good sign. Oh, but at least it has good suspensions, because it is an SUV with some ground clearance. Now, this part, just like the Avantime, the car gets light and the weight is fighting against the vehicle to be in line, so you lose a lot of speed in that section. And the top speed is not the most impressive, considering that this has a turbo and it's double the power of the Mistral. Is not interesting, but at least in the climb is not spinning any wheel, which is good. On the ribbons, you can somewhat be shifting around with the weight, but I can keep some speed. Okay, that was good enough. I left the gas for a moment and I did get a lot of speed less than I wanted. Now, in this part, it's easier than most vehicles because I was flat out and it was at 80 kilometers per hour stable. Not the fastest vehicle around. Hopefully you won't have a big emergency, but in this understeer section it is quite nice because again, no wheel spinning, the understeer was not here. Here I tap on the brakes because too much air is not the best. Bounce off only the right side. Now here I'm having some understeer, but it's still managed pretty nicely by the car, which is impressive considering all. It is slow, but it can handle a lot of understeer that you would have with many more vehicles. Now the last bump, a little help for the line, which is not bad, and towards the finish line. And to the leaderboard. For today, the fastest vehicle was unsurprisingly the Ibishu Yoru. It did the lap in 1 minute 56 seconds and 002, enough to get position 7 on the leaderboard. So a top 10 for the Yoru is impressive considering that there are only 12 vehicles that run below the 2-minute mark. And this is a sport car, not a race car or a supercar, which makes it even better. And then we have the Solai Adventera base with the time of 2 minutes 001 and 900, so 2 minutes 1 second and 900, in position 17. Now this vehicle is very fast, but tricky to drive and easy to damage, so you have to be more careful compared to other vehicles, and then you lose some time here and there on the track. So sadly, I think that this vehicle should be able to be under the 2-minute mark, but it is what it is. You have to be careful, so you lose a bit of time. It is a good time nonetheless, because 2 minutes and 01 is still pretty good. And then we have the Mistral 1.5 SX Turbo with the time of 2 minutes 08 and 934. And I did a mistake because the only Ibishu Comet that ran on this track was the MR Turbo, and the difference is 9 seconds, so there wasn't even a challenge. So I can't compare it to the Comet, which is the closest comparison I can have with this car. But I can say this was an average vehicle, average hatchback, not very fast, but also not slow. So, generic result, average result, let's say, for the Mistral. In fact, it's in position 32, which is almost middle of the leaderboard. And then we have the Avantime Privilege V6 with the noisiest V6 engine you can have, with the time of 2 minutes 13 seconds and 350 in position 43. What can I say about this vehicle? It is a minivan. It is average again, but it is the fastest of the minivans because the Lansdale is in position 46 and the Hestia is in position 48. So at least there's that for the Avantime. And we can say that is the most unique looking vehicle, so at least there's that. It is the fastest of the minivan and it is extremely good looking. And then last for the episode is the Qashqai German Red Cross edition with the time of 2 minutes 19 and 801 in position 54. Not very good, because an SUV with a small engine is not going to beat a lot of vehicles in a time trial. It did beat the Grand Marshal Police Interceptor, which is an incredibly slow police vehicle. I don't understand the purpose of that car. But all the vehicles following the Qashqai and the Grand Marshal are heavyweight or very old or extremely underpowered vehicles. So the Qashqai is going on the bad part of the leaderboard. Anyway, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.